Hey dear patrons, here I'm back. Happy New Year. I know it has been a while. I'm very happy to be back. I really missed you all. I really missed making videos for this channel. It's special for me. And there's going to be a lot of new content coming up, but I got a question about the diminished arpeggio and how to use like the double diminished scale, which is like the half tone, whole tone scale over chords, or how you can apply it. And I know I have been struggling with that quite a bit as well. And I just want to show you how I would work on something like this. So actually I'm more like a pragmatic kind of a person. And if I'm struggling with a new concept, I would most often just practice it in like a mechanical, technical way. By that I mean I would practice, for example, a diminished arpeggio and just really get in the repetitions, right? So that while I'm getting even more secure with the fingerings, that can be a trigger for, that can be something that stops you from your improvisations if you don't know, if you're not sure where your notes are. This is really the first step. You need to know your patterns and really very, very well in different ways, in up and down, across the fretboard, in one position, in any sequence, right? And then you'll be so much freer to improvise with them and use them. And also, at the same time, you're hearing the sound you want to use all the time. So before I get started, I want to say that I don't know where it comes from, but that just appeared to me is I make a distinction how I use or how I think about a diminished arpeggio and the double diminished scale. So the diminished arpeggio, I always think in more like a functional way, using it on a dominant 7 chord, resolving the flat 9 to the 5 of the 1 chord. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. And then when it comes to the double diminished scale or the whole tone, the half tone, whole tone scale, I think about it more like a sound. And it's a very cool sound. And I use it in places where I think this color will fit, right? I want to you can really think about it as like a piece of clothes you might wear. Maybe you want to, let's have an example. Maybe you want to wear something in pink, let's say. You really want to wear that because it's really cool, but you don't know how, and then you put on that pink pullover or whatever, and you don't feel very well in it, and then you put it away. It's a little bit the same thing with the sounds. You have to get used to them and hear them, and then you will feel comfortable wearing them. So more or less you have to get used to them. And I just watched some TikTok videos about the double diminished scale. There are always so many different names, whole diminished scale. And many people refer to it as very atonal, dissonant. I think this is not true. It's really, you can get so deep into this sound and it's very beautiful. Anyways, I'm rambling on. So today I'm going to show you how I would practice a diminished arpeggio across the fretboard. That's one of my favorite exercises. So I would take a G and then I play a minor third. And then a D flat on the next note. And I would play it like this. You can really visualize this shape here. Those would be your starting points for playing the minor third on one string, right? Then you have to jump. And then I would just invent an exercise. So in this case, I have been thinking about something very simple, like playing 60 notes. I put my metronome on. For a start, let's say 78. And then I just play it like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. I always want to know what I'm doing right. So I'm playing 60 notes. I have a 4/4 meter, a 4/4 time signature, and I'm always starting on the 1. Like this. Let's play it 4 times, and then I'm shifting, because I can play the same thing, of course, from the B flat. And then the next, starting on the D flat. And then, yes, I would just like speed it up a little bit. Let's try to do that a little faster. Play the same exercise. I would always think, before I start the exercise, how would I play it like 4 times each pattern, for example, so that I don't have to think about it while I'm playing, right? I want to be free to hear and listen how it sounds. Right, and that's across the fretboard, and you can have so many variations. You can also play like, I don't know, up and down, play a chord. Right, just invent your own exercise and maybe write it down. I have been writing down what I've been playing in music notation only. If you want to have it, I can give you the copy. So basically what I'm doing, I'm practicing the arpeggio across the fretboard because it's so symmetrical and it's so, you can really visualize it really easily like this. And then I would play it in one position. Still the same 4 notes, right? Maybe I would visualize a chord. And next position. And I can really spend a whole afternoon like this, and I would just listen how it sounds. Am I playing legato? Am I playing any accents? I don't want to play any accents at the moment. Are all the notes even? No slurs, no slides for the start. Am I playing alternate picking? All this stuff. And if you have been playing the guitar for a while, you know when you play for a longer time, the fingers will start to feel differently. You're warmed up now and absolutely want to reach this point in every practice session. And then I can like really work on the details. Don't forget, the guitar playing is really a lot about details, angle of the pick, how hard do you pick, how much pressure do you have in your left hand. And only if you really stick with a thing for a long time, you can really get into it. And that's what I would actually do for a start, just to play the damn thing all the time, right? Today I'm only going to talk about the diminished arpeggio, but you can do this type of training with anything that you want to learn, right? Just like don't practice too many different sounds at once. You can practice one sound like in many ways, but don't practice too many sounds at once so that you can get really into it. And right, where can you use it? So there's one place where you can start using a diminished arpeggio very well is if you have like a 2-5-1 that starts like as a minor 2-5-1. Let's say we would be in D major. We start like E half diminished, A7 flat 9, going to D major. So it looks like we're playing a 2-5-1 in minor, but we're playing a 2-5-1 in major. And if you find a spot like this in a song, this could be a good place to check out a little bit your diminished arpeggio or your diminished, double diminished scale. For example, I Love You, what is the thing called Love, feature a chord progression like this. And what I would do next is, apart from, you know, like checking out lines from other people when they play over diminished chords, right? Really checking out what other people do, how they handle that stuff, is writing down your own lines. And I think everybody knows that the diminished chord, right? Like, let's stay with this A7 flat 9 here, can of course be 4 different dominant 7th chord, right? A7 flat 9, C7, E flat, C, A. I think everybody knows it. And what is really interesting is if you just like take, you're aiming for writing down an 8-note line, so you're playing 8 notes on the dominant 7th chord, and I already checked that out a little bit. So I came up with this sort of a line on the A7. I'm playing a diminished, starting on the G. That's it. So I'm just like playing a descending diminished arpeggio on the A7, starting on the G. On the A7, and I know it's resolving to D major now because it's an A7, right? And then I'm playing something like a D major arpeggio, right? Coming back to the arpeggio is really always a good start for new sounds. So I would play the A7, ending on the B flat, which is the flat 9, and that's not an accident. That's a really nice way to connect a 5 to a 1 chord. So on the flat 9, the B flat goes to the A, from the D major, the 5. Right, and I would just like write lines and practice them. So all the while I'm training my ear to hear the diminished sound. And so now the fun thing starts. Since we know the A7 can be, flat 9, can be 3 other chords that have the same 4 notes. We can play the same line and say now we're playing a C7 diminished arpeggio because it's the same thing. Where would a C7 arpeggio resolve to, a C7 chord? To F, right? So we can play the same thing. In this case, resolve it to the A. That would be the 3rd of the F major, and play maybe the F major arpeggio. Right, so we play the same shape, and then we resolve it to another tonic. Still just to try to hear the stuff. So this chord could be also like an E flat 7. Like, let's say it's an E flat 7. Where does it resolve to? To A flat. So now I'm on the B flat. And I'm playing E flat 7, and then maybe I'm playing a little enclosure here, right? Let's play it again. Sorry, I'm playing the chord. And last but not least, it could be like an F sharp 7 flat 9. So where would the F7 resolve to B major? And I find this sort of stuff so fascinating, right? So we're always using the same same first 8 notes, and then we're going somewhere else, just thinking about a possible 1 chord, because right, 5 dominant 7th chords, 4 5 chords that can go to 4 1 chords. Anyways, what you also can do is like A7. Just check the chords as well. I find it so related all the time. So I'm still struggling with the lavalier, because one time I recorded a video, I had my hair on top of it, and then it distorts. Can't talk any English anymore too. Right, so A7 would go to D, C7 would go to F, E flat 7 would go to A flat major, somewhere else. And last but not least, F sharp, go to B major. Isn't this so freaking cool? So this is how I would work on it. If you want to send me your lines, I'll take a look, have a look at them. And last but not least, try to connect chords and lines via halftone steps. That's very, very powerful, right? If you're having the flat 9 here with the B flat of the A7, it goes to D major, and then it's a 5. This is like a cliche thing that's happening in a lot of lines. I just want to say, only because you're analyzing a line that has a 13 and a flat 9 in it doesn't automatically mean that it is a double diminished scale, right? So those notes are also like passing notes, like think wave, right? We have those voice leadings, 9. I think we all know those. I think we all know those moving voices in chords. We're used to that. We have like moving voices sort of in the lines as well, right? That's how I think about the diminished, maybe arpeggio or the flat 9 on a dominant 7th chord if it's functional harmony. But if I'm thinking about the double diminished scale, it's really a sound, right? And then you can really experiment with the different shapes that you can see in it. There's no avoid notes. You can shift everything along. Let me know if you would be interested in a video about the double diminished scale. But I already made a lot of videos about it, so I'm going to list them in the description box and you can watch them on my YouTube channel. See you around, bye!